Hello, hi, my name is Aiden and welcome to Hearts Fine Art. If you don't know me, I am an artist and I am participating in Vlogmas for 2025, which means that I'm gonna be posting daily videos every day up until Christmas. I am documenting my journey starting my own fine art business. I'm gonna showcase art processes, art topics, business topics, just what I get to do on a day-to-day basis. For today, I actually don't have enough time to record something creative. I think I'm just gonna show you a sketchbook tour of one of my first sketchbooks ever. I think it's a great way for you guys to see where I started and kind of like the progress I made with my artwork, the things that I like to draw. I also wanted to show you more art content because the previous videos have been more chatty and more about the business. Okay, so let's get to it. This is the first sketchbook that I've ever completed. Most of these sketches are just from it's mostly from like when I was finishing high school and then early college. So a lot of these drawings are gonna be pretty old. Obviously, we're gonna start with Yoshi. I was really obsessed with sketching and painting with watercolor on the go. And then on the next page, we have another Yoshi. This style that I was developing during this time, I was kind of getting obsessed with fine liners. I've always preferred brushes, so I decided to experiment with that with watercolors instead. This paper is not meant for watercolor, so there's gonna be some areas where like the water starts to eat the page. This sketchbook is also really old, but the thing that I liked about this paper is that the paper is thick enough that the watercolor does not bleed to the other side. And then now we have my first graphite sketch. I believe I made this with a mechanical pencil. At the time, I didn't used to use a lot of references. A lot of the drawings were just mindless drawings. And then I also was experimenting with a lot of different mediums, just trying to figure out what I wanted. These are made with water-based markers and then some Crayola colored pencils on the background, but this is what sketchbooks are for. They're not meant to be like gallery presentation ready. They're for you to just doodle, have fun, and just express your creativity. I also have some technical drawings because at the time when I was starting this sketchbook, that's when I was trying to decide what I wanted to major in college. I thought I wanted to be an architect. I actually did end up taking a technical drawing class, and that's why we have this on my sketchbook. This is a drawing I actually drew something very similar, like my first drawing ever. I believe I was maybe like around 14 years old. And I remember going to my art teacher and be like, hey, I made this drawing. And then after that started to like have like an itch inside of me, and I just needed to draw. And then I ended up just doing more, and like, oh, and then I had a classmate that she used to sit in front of me, and one day I just made this because we had like literally nothing else to do. I used to carry this sketchbook with me everywhere. It will go with me everywhere. That's why it's also beat up. And then another drawing, which is a little scary. Obviously, all the proportions are wrong. Like the hair has like no dimension. There's like no depth in this. This is a pretty bad drawing, but everybody starts somewhere. There's a misconception I want to break. Like artists are not born with talent. We just sort of like have like a interest, and then this passion inspires us to just do it over and over, and it's kind of like a sport. Like the more you do it, the better you get at it. I believe I was trying to experiment with some water soluble color pencils, but I never even attempted to pursue this. I have a big problem of like starting something, just like dumping my ideas out and like never going back and finishing them. But I'm actually glad that I did it, that I still have the drawing, so that if I ever need to draw inspiration from myself, I have all these references that I can look at and use them for later use. Just another drawing with a horrible face. I don't know. I don't even know. I have like no words for this. I think I was like trying to like do some like fashion illustrations type of drawings. This is heavily inspired by Lady Gaga. We cannot miss the eye. Every artist is gonna draw a bunch of random eyes everywhere. I will only draw like one eye because I wasn't good at all. This way I could avoid having to draw the whole face and keep the proportions and make it look symmetrical. This is a sketch that ended up becoming a cover for someone's writing. I believe it was some sort of like short story. So they asked me to like come up with like a concept, and this is the sketch that I did. I don't even remember what the story was about. And then I also went through a time in high school where I was really obsessed with tigers, so I was drawing tigers everywhere. And this is a very scary one. I believe that this was just like a sketch for a bigger piece. And then the bow and arrow. I don't know if you're familiar with anime, but I'm a very big fan of Inuyasha. I own a bow and arrow, and when I go to the country, I like to shoot the arrow. Here I was practicing some pointillism. These are meant to be leaves from a plant, but they kind of look like lips if you look at it from the side. Another eye. The eye that sees it all. I was also into typography, which kind of makes sense because I ended up becoming a graphic designer. Another sketch that I started out and ended up leaving behind. I've never been good at the male face structure. This drawing right here, this is a sketch that ended up becoming a bigger piece. Back then, my teacher would make us do sketches before we proceeded into making a bigger piece. I believe this was something about combining art with technology. And then we have this weird drawing of, this is actually Lady Gaga from one of her weird music videos. I didn't know how to draw the hands, so I just I don't know. This is so funny. I did it because I didn't know how to draw fingers. And then right here, I was like practicing shading and actually using a reference. This kind of like helped me understand how light bounces on the objects. And then I have another attempt of drawing a dude. I believe this is someone I saw on YouTube randomly somewhere. I don't even remember who this was. Then another star. I had like no consistency in my sketchbooks. This is a drawing inspired by anime. This is like very anime influenced. I think I was like just trying to like come up with like an anime style. Anything cartoony, anime, I'm not good at it. I just don't get it. And then I have this lady with curly hair. I believe the inspiration for this drawing is Shakira. Music is also like a big theme in my work. I am completely in love with music. And then right here, I brought back the watercolors, just trying to do some landscape. It's also something that I'm not good at, which I want to pursue moving forward. Okay, another Lady Gaga inspired drawing. This is from her Born This Way era. I really like the artistic shots that she used to put out. Kind of miss those times when promoting art was meant to be artistic and not just money grabbing. And I feel like at the time Lady Gaga did an amazing job with promoting her album. I also used to have a very heavy hand, so when I was outlining her face, you could actually see the dents on the next page, but I just had this, I didn't like it, so I just moved on. See, I don't know if you can see it right here. I didn't draw this. Somebody else drew this. I remember his face, but I can't remember his name. We had a class together on my first year of university. He draws so well, like very confident strokes. And I believe that he actually ended up making art his career. I was trying to draw a face on a lemon. I don't know, the internet back then. Another lady that has very disproportionate features. This is just like some leftover paint that I didn't know what to do with, so I just made something very abstract. It has no meaning, it's just a bunch of colors. I actually ended up doing some journaling. I'm not gonna show you because that's very personal. But moving on to the next drawing, I just made this face. This is kind of like how I used to look like, by the way. I used to keep really short hair and I hated it. I never liked having short hair. I was just drawing a random face without a reference, and when I do that, they end up having some sort of similarity to my features. And then this is just a concept project for one of my painting classes. This is also another concept sketch that ended up becoming a bigger painting. Some watercolor sketching that I was trying to do on the beach. I kind of miss being able to just go into my sketchbook and just have fun with it without having the need to show somebody. This is something I sketched in one of my travels. I believe it's a glass coffee mug. Again, some subject. I just have a lot of really bad random sketches in this sketchbook, but that's what sketchbooks are for. These are images that I was practicing for when I was doing face painting. I did face painting for festivals during my junior year of college just to have extra money on the side. These are all the concepts that I had. This is one of those drawings where I actually had like a more defined style, the charcoal, the shading, and then experimenting with the outlining. Oh, this is actually someone I used to watch on YouTube. I don't even remember his name. And because I didn't know like how to draw a mouth, I just drew a rose on his mouth. There's a lot of decisions that I used to make that kind of look cool now that I look back at it. But back then I did it only because I didn't know how to do like the complete face. I really like this. The eyes are kind of big, they're kind of cartoony looking, but I think the rest of the drawing is really good. This is when I wanted to get into drawing more anatomy, flowers in general. I love drawing them and painting them. And the thing with roses is like I like painting and drawing roses kind of like I do portraits. They're not just like random petals or like quick techniques. I pay attention to like every petal, every flower is unique. Like they stand out, they have personalities. Again, just some like random wildflowers. Flowers to me are like a gift from nature. And a self-portrait, I made sure to add my beauty marks on my face. This drawing is actually really good. I was really impressed like with the level of improvement that I've made. This is my dog. His name is Bruce. This is with watercolors. This is when I was more focused on practicing colors. When you see something white, it's not really white. It's gonna have like some highlights. It's gonna have shadows. Most of the times your whites are gonna be some shade of blue or some shade of yellow. I did a combination of both. There's even some purples. Again, another Yoshi with watercolors. I was trying to experiment with thicker outlines. I did not like those. This is an acrylic painting. I believe this is my cousin actually. And then just another flower with more acrylic paint. This is a character from a cartoon called Steven Universe. Her name is Rose. And for this, I was trying out prang watercolors that have like glitter. They are kind of sticky. It's really more of a layover, but it looks really pretty. More sketches, a Coca-Cola watercolor drawing. I really like this. This is also those glitter watercolors. Pikachu, again with the glitter watercolors. I don't know, I really like those glitter specs. And this is my friend's dog. Her name is Abigail. This is kind of like what I ended up developing. I wanted to make them look more realistic. Then practicing calligraphy. This is a sketch from one of my Instagram followers. Sometimes I like to go to my Instagram, check my followers, and I ask them for permission to see if I can use one of their pictures as a reference. If you ever want me to maybe potentially draw your face, make sure that you follow me on Instagram. Oh my god, this is somebody that I used to follow back on Tumblr. I used to love, Tumblr used to be my jam. We used to be friends on Tumblr. I think he was a model and he will post a lot of very artsy pictures instead of just doing like a outline of him. This is a charcoal drawing. This is when I started to move away from graphite. The difference between charcoal and graphite for me is that with charcoal, I can use more painting techniques. I actually do use a brush when I'm smudging the charcoal. Here's another drawing using high contrast techniques. It's fine liners. This is actually really good. Like those fingers, I'm actually impressed. This is a sketch that I did for my sister-in-law. I ended up drawing her a portrait of her, and then Venus, of course. This is directly drawn from the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston. I went into the museum and I sat there for maybe like 2 to 3 hours and I just sketched this, and I ended up doing a bigger drawing of this for one of my school projects. And then here we have my doggy Bruce again. Once again, I used the glitter watercolors. I guess I really like those watercolors. I need to pull them out and play with them again. A sunflower, watercolors, charcoal dry. Okay, so this is like when we start to see like another jump. But yeah, this is one of my friends from university. She is a art teacher. I was trying to do some like a concept sketch for a bigger piece. It was meant to be like a lily flower and like some sort of fairy. I ended up going with a whole different concept for my final piece. I made this for one of my painting classes. And then over here we have a flower. I believe this is a gardenia, but I never finished it. This is a rose that I took a reference from one of my trips to California, and I have used this reference so many times, and I'm actually gonna paint it again for the collection that is gonna be coming out sometime in the spring. And then this here is a lighter. I was like trying to do like a really fast sketch of my dad. Here's another really quick sketch. I believe this is my oldest brother. Doesn't really look like him, but it kind of does. No, it doesn't look like him. I was using him as a reference. And then this is a plushie that I drew. I really love how messy these look. You can still perceive the dimensions. Here is that same guy from before practicing anatomy. I wonder what happened with him. And then right over here, we just have a fairy. But yeah, this is it. That's the end of the sketchbook. Okay, so this is gonna be the end of the video. Today, you guys are gonna get a longer video because I didn't know how to manage my time. I promise it's gonna get better. But yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed the sketchbook tour. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you wanna see more content. Remember that I'm gonna be posting daily every single day up until Christmas for Vlogmas. I will see you in the morning.